Is Apple making secret changes to the iPhone 12? The answer is both yes and no. As we're learning more and more about the 2020 iPhone lineup, there's a lot we have discovered about Apple's latest iPhones. So in this video, I am breaking down 12 new additions, changes, mysteries solved with the new iPhone 12 and iPhone 12 Pro line, and also some secrets that aren't so secret anymore. Now let me be clear right off the bat that all of these additions and changes and secrets, not all of them are bad. Some of these actually are quite good, and maybe Apple just didn't have time to showcase it during that kind of limited time in the virtual event. But some other things that we're learning now after the event are not so good, some unpleasant surprises, which kind of leads us nicely into our first point, which is the $30 price hike on the iPhone 12 mini and the iPhone 12. So this is a little confusing, so bear with me as I try to explain it and give you all the information we currently know. So if you go to the Apple website and you want to purchase an iPhone 12 mini or an iPhone 12, you're going to notice that if you want to buy on T-Mobile or on Sprint, which is now owned by T-Mobile, that the price is $30 more for each model. It's not $699 or $799, it's $30 more than that, which begs the obvious question, why is it more? And there had been some rumors about some 5G fees or some antenna things or some licensing fees. I had heard a bunch of different rumors, but after doing a lot of digging, I could not confirm any of that from any of the major publications. Mac Rumors, 9to5Mac, Apple Insider, CNET, all of the big players didn't really have an official statement from Apple or any real big comment from the carriers, besides one from T-Mobile, which we'll get to in a minute. So that really doesn't seem to be the case. What we think is happening is that the price of the phone actually is $30 more than Apple advertised during the event, but there are some instant deals going on through Verizon and AT&T. So if you want to buy the phone through them and you're an existing customer, it seems like that $30 fee is waived or there's a $30 coupon. What makes this mystery even more weird is that this fee does not apply to the 12 Pro or the 12 Pro Max. It's just to the 12 and 12 mini. And also it applies to an unlocked phone. So if you're not on one of the 4 major carriers in the US, or you just want to buy your phone outright, like many people like to do, that $30 fee is applied to that as well. So it doesn't really make much sense if it's a carrier limitation or not a carrier limitation. Basically what we've heard from T-Mobile is they didn't really explain what the fee was, but that they will be offering some kind of instant discount or coupon or some kind of special incentive when the 12 mini and 12 go on sale through Apple. And those offers have since gone live. There are now instant discounts on all of the 4 major carriers, kind of bringing them all in line to the same price. $699 for the 12 mini, $799 for the 12, though it's still $30 more for both phones if you want to pick up an unlocked version. Why this fee exists, we don't know. Why Apple didn't mention it, we also don't know. And will it be sticking around? We have no answer to any of this. This is like one of the biggest mysteries post-event is why this fee is there. And for many people, rightfully so, they're angry about this and why certain people who buy unlocked phones, you're kind of being punished in a sense. We're not exactly 100% sure why this fee exists and why it's there, if it's staying forever or going away. But once we know for sure what it is and we have an update, we will be sure to bring you the latest. But what I do know with 100% certainty is that you need to keep yourself protected and safe whenever you are browsing online. And I'm sure you've heard before, anytime you're connected to a public Wi-Fi hotspot at a place like a coffee shop, an airport, a library, a restaurant, you are making yourself vulnerable and really putting yourself at risk. I'm sure you've heard that. But do you also know, even in the comfort of your own home when you're browsing online, that your internet service provider is keeping a detailed, meticulous log of every little thing you do online? Let's put a stop to that right now and keep you safe and secure wherever you're browsing by using private internet access. PIA has been around for 10 years, and they are the leading no-log VPN service that is going to keep you safe and secure whenever you're online, while also keeping those bad guys at bay. They've got an excellent iOS app, perfect for that brand new iPhone 12 you might pick up, and also apps on all other major platforms, Android, Windows, Mac, and more. Plus, you can use PIA on 10 different devices simultaneously, so you're covered on all your devices. PIA makes using a VPN so simple, and also gives you access to unlock regional content you wouldn't otherwise have access to on services like Amazon Prime Video, BBC, Netflix, and more. Also, PIA has earned PC Mag's Editor's Choice, and I totally understand why. They give you access to 10,000 servers in 70 different countries, and they never, ever log any of your online activity. Personally, I love using PIA. I love knowing all my devices are safe and secure whenever and wherever I'm online, and I want you guys to have that safety and security as well. So check out the link down below to learn more about private internet access, and if you sign up with that link, you'll get 77% off plus 3 months free. Also, PIA offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose but everything to gain. So check out the link below and learn more about private internet access. Next up, let's talk about something else that kind of got Reddit and the entire internet in a flurry, and that was what looks like a smart connector on the side of the new iPhone 12 and iPhone 12 Pro. This is also something Apple didn't touch on at all, but once kind of the images started to emerge and people did a little digging, it looked like it was a smart connector. Remember, we heard rumors that a smart connector could come to the iPhone. There have been persistent rumors for years that Apple Pencil support was gonna be a feature of the new iPhone, so that didn't really make the rounds this year. No one really knew exactly what it was, other than the fact that it looked really similar to that little smart connector port on the iPad Pro that's used to dock the Apple Pencil, which led us to a lot of conspiracy theories and rumors that there was a whole new addition to Magsafe and maybe there was Apple Pencil support or something else. Unfortunately, all of those rumors are put to rest and none of that is true. Instead, what the truth is that that little cutout is sort of a window for the 5G millimeter wave antenna. Remember that millimeter wave is a little bit more directional than sub-6. It's faster, but you need to be in closer proximity. And as Apple sort of talked a little at length about how they, totally re-engineered all this stuff for the iPhone 12 and iPhone 12 Pro for 5G, how they changed kind of the structure and the casing, it would make sense that this little window was there for the millimeter wave antenna, and it exists to kind of, in a sense, supposedly boost 5G speeds and help millimeter wave operate better and function properly. We don't know if this is going to be a hardware feature that is going to be on all iPhone 12 and 12 Pros, even outside of the States, because as of right now, millimeter wave is just in the States. It's going to be interesting to see if this is a feature kind of going forward and something we see on other iPhones in other countries and territories around the world as well as they launch. Also, more news on 5G. Again, we had heard rumors that millimeter wave was just going to be in the US, but as 5G and more specifically millimeter wave continued to kind of grow and continue to kind of roll out around the world, we don't know if this is a region-locked feature or if millimeter wave, at least for the 12 and 12 Pro, is just in the US this year. We heard rumors kind of both ways. So I'm super interested to see if Apple is able to kind of unlock this feature via software, if there's a hardware limitation. I guess if the phones overseas do have that little window, then that would suggest that the millimeter wave technology is in there as well. Again, this is something that is a truth that is uncovered and we've discovered what the reality is, but there are still some lingering questions as to exactly what it's there for and if it's going to be a big part of the iPhone outside of the US as well. But we're also learning that 5G is unlocking a new feature that we didn't have on other iPhones before that seemed like a software limitation that is now unlocked on the 12 and 12 Pro, and that is 1080p FaceTime video calls. So before, I guess, apparently I didn't even know this, that FaceTime was locked to 720p. Now on the new iPhones, you can do 1080p video calls over FaceTime, over cellular presumably. We don't know if this is locked to 5G, though I would presume it's not locked to 5G, but maybe the extra antennas in the 12 and 12 Pro allow it to get a better signal, which allow it to achieve this. It doesn't really seem to be a technical limitation because LTE with fairly good speeds could produce consistent upload speeds and download speeds, which should also allow this as well. We're not exactly sure the details on this, so this was uncovered that if you do want to make 1080p FaceTime calls, that's only, as of right now, seems to be a feature on the new 12 and 12 Pro. And remember, I did mention some good news, right? So here is some piece of good news that Apple really didn't mention during their event, but is still super nice to see. So both the 12 series and 12 Pro series, all 4 phones are still IP68 certified, but they can now be submerged a little bit deeper in water than their counterparts from last year. So the 12 Pro and 12 Pro Max can now be submerged at 6 meters for 30 minutes. That's up from 4 meters at 30 minutes from the 11 Pro and 11 Pro Max. And that's the same for the iPhone 12 and 12 mini as well. 6 meters for 30 minutes. That's actually an improvement from the 11, which can only do 2 meters at 30 minutes. So if you're concerned about dropping your phone in a puddle or a small pool of water, or even maybe a swimming pool accidentally, you should be able to have a little bit of a better shot of recovering your phone and making making it out and working safe and sound. Next up, I want to talk a little bit about colors. Apple obviously showcased some new colors with the iPhone 12 and 12 mini, and the 12 Pro finally got the rumored blue color. It is Pacific blue and it looks wonderful. But some colors also slightly changed. So the white didn't change. The gold this year is more of a traditional bright gold, more of a gold bar than kind of the rose gold we've seen on kind of the XS and in years past. And then the black color, which was space gray, is now taking a page from the Series 6 and is now called graphite. Though if I look at the two images side by side on the Apple website, I am extremely hard pressed to tell a difference between space gray and graphite. It looks maybe just a little bit different, but I want to know what you guys think. Can you guys spot a difference between graphite and space gray? Let me know in the comments down below. Some other good news and bad news to talk about. We kind of expected that the new iPhones would not come with a charging brick or ear pods in the box. That was confirmed and we understand that's not happening. But also, Apple is making that move kind of retroactively on other phones. So any new iPhone you buy from them, the 11, the SE, the 10R, those are also getting the power brick and the ear pods removed as well, which is kind of a surprising move and something you should be made aware of. And also the cable is changing. So Apple is now including a USB-C to Lightning cable in the box, which is great on one hand if you have a USB-C charging brick, but if the whole idea for making this move, or one of the big reasons behind it, was that everyone had a power brick, I think way more people, or the average consumer, would have a USB-A power brick from an old phone or an old device than a power brick with USB-C. So does this kind of defeat the purpose a little bit for the move? Anyways, just so you're aware, you will need a USB-C power brick to charge up the iPhone or a USB-C port on a computer. It's a USB-C to Lightning cable in the box, so let's make that clear. And also, Apple has changed some pricing of their accessories to reflect that they are no longer in the box, dropping the price of a 20-watt little charging brick that has a USB-C end. That's now $19 on the Apple website, as well as the wired ear pods, the Lightning ear pods that used to be in the box. Those are now $19 on the Apple website as well. So if you're looking to kind of snag the accessories that are no longer in the box, you can pick them up for $19 a piece from the Apple website or the Apple Store. Next up, let's talk Magsafe. This was one of the coolest parts of this virtual event for many people, and something that we had kind of heard rumored that there was going to be magnets inside, but now actually seeing this in action is really cool, and it really does open up a lot of opportunities for Apple and their first-party accessories, and also third-party accessories as well. And one of the most interesting little tidbits that many people are excited about is a little accessory that seems to show an always-on display with the iPhone, sort of. This seems to be some kind of first-party accessory case from Apple that would showcase the time in that little cutout. Obviously, the big question here is, could Apple do more with this little cutout than just showcase the time? Could they have a little badge that showed you had unread messages, for example, on your iPhone, or show that you had unread emails or messages kind of come in and kind of appear in that little window as they are received? That would be super cool to see. And of course, better yet, the next logical thinking, could Apple make some sort of API or extend this functionality to third-party developers that let third-party apps take advantage of this little cutout as well? Could you have like a weather widget there? Could you put widgets there at all? My mind is racing with ideas of so many cool things you could do, which kind of lends the idea a little bit more credibility that maybe Apple could somehow implement an always-on display feature with new cases or with Magsafe. It definitely opens up a lot of opportunities with Magsafe accessories, and maybe there could be a cool way to utilize some kind of little cutout or some kind of little display on front of the iPhone case as well. A little tidbit I thought was worth sharing, and we'll see how developers, if they can, and get access to it and what they could do with it, and how Apple will kind of take advantage of that as well. And some other interesting news with Magsafe is that it's going to have some exclusive features. So the iPhone 12 and 12 Pro, they're both capable, all four phones, of wireless charging at 15 watts, so a faster wireless charging. But caveat, you can only achieve 15 watts of wireless charging if you use a MagSafe charger. So that kind of takes the fun out of using a regular Qi charger. That's going to be only 7.5 watts max capacity. Also, another fun fact on MagSafe we're now learning is that MagSafe can be used with other devices than just the 12 and 12 Pro series. Obviously, if you kind of want that magnetic feature, kind of the big part of the word MagSafe, you're gonna have to use one of the newer devices, but Apple is confirming you can use devices like an iPhone 8, AirPods with a wireless charging case, AirPods Pro Pro, I suspect that MagSafe will essentially function as a sort of wireless charger, maybe a quasi-Qi wireless charger. Basically, it looks like you can use this as a wireless charger by your bedside for any device, though it's going to have that special snap and fast charging ability with the newer Apple devices. So a little bit more information on MagSafe. I'm super excited to see what developers and third-party manufacturers can do with this, what Apple's gonna do with this. MagSafe looks super exciting, even though I still really miss the old MagSafe, the traditional one that used to be on all the laptops. We're also learning a bit more about the performance upgrades in the new iPhone 12 and 12 Pro series as well, thanks to some alleged leaked devices. So we're learning that the iPhone 12 mini and the iPhone 12 will stick with 4 gigs of RAM. That's kind of what we've seen in years past, kind of follows the 11 and the 11 Pro. But we're learning the Pro phones this year, so the Pro and the Pro Max, those will have 6 gigs of RAM, which makes sense when you consider all of the Dolby Vision HDR recording and some of the new stuff with LiDAR. A lot of real-time processes have to happen. The Apple Pro RAW stuff, it would make sense that those phones need a little bit of extra memory to make all that stuff happen. So the move from 4 to 6 is cool to see in the Pro phones, and I think it's the most, RAM that's ever been in an iPhone before, so super cool to see that improvement this year. We're also learning some stuff on the A14 Bionic. So Apple talked a lot about how it's better than, they didn't say the word, but Qualcomm processors, the flagship Snapdragon series, but they didn't do any benchmarks like they typically do with the newer A chip with the older A chip, so the A14 Bionic versus the A13 Bionic. Well, we are hearing from some different benchmarks from, again, alleged leaked devices going on and running these tests, is that the performance improvements are about 20 to 25% better on the A14 Bionic than last year's A13 Bionic. Some caveats here, these results were kind of varying up and down, so the phone might have been doing some background processes. We won't really know until we can get, a clean phone here to actually do a test on. But if the rumors are true, and let's assume they are 20 to 25%, that is still a significant jump in performance. That's nothing to kind of scoff at, but it does show that Apple is so ahead in their processor and their performance gains and their efficiency that they're not trying to break the bank in terms of performance. They're focusing on other areas, which I'd argue are probably more important, things like efficiency, especially with 5G, but we are getting some performance gains as well. Obviously, the phones are plenty powerful. The A13 Bionic was no slouch, so it's cool to see some performance coming with the A14 Bionic in this year's Pro phones, and even the iPhone 12 and 12 mini as well. And those are 12 things we are now learning about the iPhone 12, the iPhone 12 Pro, and even some things about the Apple ecosystem as a whole and how it's kind of changing with the launch of these new phones. So what do you guys think? Which phone are you gonna pick up, the 12 or the 12 Pro? Which size, which storage capacity, which color? And are you willing to make the upgrade from an 11 or a phone from before? Let us know in the comments down below. We'd love to talk iPhone 12, 12 Pro, and everything Apple. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I am Robert Rosenfeld from the Apple Circle, and I will see ya in the next one.